Now, I probably spend on the order of 3 hours every week listening to podcasts on AI, business podcasts on AI. And I think the takeaway that I really have is that we don't actually really know how it's going to be impacting us. I continue to see, hear experts talking about near-term impacts and long-term impacts, and many of them are very conflicting. And so that makes it very difficult to feel confident, hey, I'm going to make a big investment case on a very specific outcome. Right now, the most important thing when I think about my job as a portfolio manager is to think about companies that I already own and how could they be disrupted, disintermediated, negatively impacted by artificial intelligence. That's really job number one for me, is how secure are the companies that I own right now? And then thinking more forward about the longer term opportunities that exist in artificial intelligence. Initially, everyone had said, this is going to be a large cap phenomenon initially, because what you really need is large amounts of capital to build everything out and lots of data. And then DeepSeek happened, and suddenly it was the ability to be able to build one of these models with much less in terms of data, capital, et cetera. And so that's really upended a lot of the near-term thesis on who are the winners of AI going to be. What I think is much more important is to think about use cases right now that make sense and thinking about opportunities and risks going forward. So right now, the best use case for artificial intelligence, generative artificial intelligence, is still software development. And I think that that's going to have a pretty profound impact on the profitability and the acceleration of technology within software. And I think that'll impact small cap, mid cap, large cap, right? Think about a software development team. If you had 20 software developers, and now you can use AI to really replace a lot of the more junior tech coders, that really changes a lot of the dynamics. Or it means you keep everyone and you just accelerate your product roadmap. That really has a pretty profound impact, and that seems to be right now the best use case of generative AI. But looking forward, we're learning a lot more about agentic AI, which is basically, if you think of it as a digital coworker that would enable all of us to be much more efficient. Now, it's still really early in terms of where we are with companies adopting this. There has to be a certain comfort level that the technology is going to work before they adopt it. And so I think 2025 is the year where we see a lot of experimentation with agentic AI and how people can integrate it into their workforces. What I think this also means for a lot of traditional software is you may see a lot of companies saying, hey, hold on with my big software updates and spend. I want to experiment a little bit with agentic AI. And so I think that could create a little bit of volatility within the software space, which has already been, more challenged, right? As most of the investment in AI has been in infrastructure, software has been a little bit put to the side. And I think and worry that that could continue to be the case as companies just try to figure out how they want to incorporate AI into their thought process. So I think overall, when I look at the landscape, it's still really too soon to be able to pick the winners. Much of it is very conflicting, and I think it will take time before we really understand the best use cases, particularly for generative AI. In the interim, I think that really behooves us as portfolio managers and strategists too, to think about how will the disruption impact the companies that we do own, and think about longer term, the opportunities ahead.